from my side as an accounting officer, as I indicated that during the meet and greet exercise as a newly appointed female city manager, I was approached by female officers in the EMPD that are being harassed and are not promoted to senior position. Rather, they should sleep with them for, it's not only attributed to chief only, it is a practice of everyone. But for me, because there was no formal complaint from any one of them, I could not take action. Mine was to create a platform for them to be empowered so that they are able to be promoted. And I've actually attached the statistics of my program, almost 8-year program of empowering women in uniform. It is called a City Manager Legacy Project. It is part of my key performance indicators in terms of my performance contract, where I initiated this program because there was no initial complaint. It was just a hearsay and their frustration. And quietly so, I had to create this program. And this program was actually celebrated every year. And the Chief of Police was actually invited in that program, where all these female officers who obtained their junior degrees, national certificate, we even have one who graduated a PhD degree. Last year, is it early this year? With a PhD degree, one junior official in the EMPD. She's at the inspector level with that PhD. We have others with masters, others with junior degrees, others with national diplomas. That is how the program was structured. And in terms of promotion, I can actually boast and say that we have actually appointed a lot of them or promoted a lot of them into higher positions up to director level. There was one that we attempted to appoint as a deputy chief of police, but she declined because the contract is a 5-year contract and she's a single parent. That is how far I wanted to go. And it is my wish, and it was my wish, and it is still my wish, that one day we should have a female chief of police, so that women are also given an opportunity to occupy senior positions, especially in the previously male-dominated environment. So we've done that exercise, but over and above that...
Is it previously, or is it not still dominated by men?
I've tried that.
No, you're saying it's previously, as if now everything is on par.
No, it's not on. It's not. But I've tried my best to actually...
I'm not criticizing you, I'm just correcting your language in saying it was previously dominated by men. I'm not there, I'm not at the Guruleni, but I would imagine that it must still be dominated by men. That's the probability.
Oh, thank you very much, Commissioner, for that correction. Yes, the profession is still male-dominated, but as the then female accounting officer, I tried to actually normalize the situation, but I have not reached where I wanted to be. It was also reported to me that the Chief of Police, Isaac Mapiyeye, fathered multiple children with subordinates who were vulnerable to his abuse of power, including conduct amounting to sexual harassment, coercion, and rape. I will address this when I deal with question 10? Question 9, where I was requested to submit his suspension letter. Is it 10?
I think if you go over at page 9,
it's page 9.
The last sentence of that first paragraph, you reference question 13 of the statement, yes.
All right. The pattern of behavior described is deeply troubling and reflects a systematic abuse of authority by the Chief of Police. And he used to call them amangilosi. He calls them amangilosi, like angels. Those who are angels, these are the ones who are actually promoted. And if you look at the promotion of Tepa, who actually testified here, you can see that she was promoted within a short period of time as compared to others who have more qualifications, who were there before her, who were appointed before her as EMPD officials. So for me, this kind of practice gave me sleepless nights. And I feel that with the program that I created, at least it alleviated some pressure from these women. But there are those who are actually part of the whole thing, whom he called angels or amangilos. I also record concerns relating to...
Just make sure I understand the point you are making here. Are you saying that he had sexual relations with amangilosi or the angels, and that as a result, the angels would then be promoted?
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Or would be favored for promotion?
Exactly.
All right.
Can I ask a follow-up question? Doctor, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Are you stating that as a fact or it's a rumor that you heard? I'm sure you were watching news in the last few weeks. You would have heard about a term called mabaribari.
Ma?
Mabaribari.
It's not a mabarabara. I've been in the system. I know about these things.
But I'm saying, are you stating it as a fact or as something that you heard?
It's something that I heard, but he will answer and they will come, and if they're called, they can come and testify, those that have been abused. Classical example is about a witness that chief has been suspended for sexual harassment as well as rape. If that is a classical example, she'll come and confirm. But she requested that she wants to come and be interviewed by the commission, but outside camera. She doesn't want to be in camera because of her children and so forth. But she has prepared her file, and I think she has also written to be interviewed by the panel to indicate her treatment under the Chief of Police. So I will also talk to it when I address the issue of his suspension, how it happened. The letters from the doctors, I've attached them from her doctors, and the letters from the attorneys that represents her. So it is important to know that some of these things, they are not just said in a vacuum or under mabaribari. It is confirmed by a case that is being opened against him, the case of rape, and also there is a protection order against him. And for him to come here and behave as if he's a victim while he's a perpetrator of women abuse, it's a shame, to be honest.
Dr. Mashazi, you speak in paragraph 50 and in your explanation of a wide-scale program.
I want to talk to this one. This one, Chief of Police being Chief of Police.
Can I just ask you my question, and then you can speak to what you want to speak to? I started to ask you a question. Please. My question is, you speak of a pervasive problem, and in the plural, you say angels, and suggesting improper relationships. Is there a particular reason that you mentioned only Lieutenant Colonel Tipper, who testified in her testimony, spoke about you or your office at least? You are not mentioning anyone else as part of the crowd of people that you say the chief was had improper relationships with.
I want to focus my discussions and my evidence in terms of people who have been here and people who actually made allegations. Tepa, she was one of my protectors at some point, introduced by Chief, part of my team of protection. I had 8 males protecting me, and Chief withdrew one and introduced Tepa. And these other males were saying, but Mama, your office and your safety is actually questionable. Why do you allow Chief to bring this one? She's not going to help us. We need to be combat ready to protect you. Then I asked Chief, what is the reason of you? No, she's good. She's one of my angels. That is how he explained. He's one of his angels. And in terms of, if you go to Ekureni, they will tell you about amangelosi, what amangelosi means or angels means in terms of Chief's definition. So she is part of the angels here, of Chief's angels.
Yes, you've said that. You've said she's one of the angels. My question to you is, she's testified against you. She's said unflattering things about you. You are not mentioning anyone else by name of those angels. And what are we to make of it, that you speak specifically to someone who's testified against you? And I think you have just said now that, she comes here to pretend she's an angel when in fact she's part of a net. It may well be that is so. And I'm not saying that's not so because I don't know any better. It may well be. I'm asking the simple question that you mention her specifically, where you speak in the plural about angels. You're not mentioning anyone else. Is there a particular reason that you mention her and she happens to be someone who testified against you?
Thank you for the question. I'm not mentioning her because she was part of the people who made allegations about me, but I'm speaking about her and confirm because her name is already here, and Chief has actually introduced her to me as one of his angels. That is the reason why I'm mentioning her alone.
Okay. Can I just follow up on that? You also, on my question at least, you say at 50.1, you say it has been widely reported to me that Chief children with subordinates. And in your oral evidence, you say you came to know that there was a program in the MPD where you're not suggesting Chief is the only one. Chief Mapiyeye was the only one that is guilty of those kind of complaints. You're not suggesting that?
Correct.
Okay, but you're mentioning only him.
I'm mentioning Chief because there's a case about him, about sexual harassment
Yes.
and also rape.
Yes. You do
I
discuss
can't mention
that.
others because there was never a case that was brought to my attention about rape or sexual harassment. And I could not, as I indicated when I started that, I could not charge anyone about the practice in EMPD. Instead, as a female accounting officer, I decided to create a program to empower these women.
Okay. Maybe lastly, let me ask, you are the municipal manager at the time.
Yes.
In fact, before that, you were the chief operating officer.
Exactly.
And then you become the municipal manager. In one of those two roles, you become aware that there are problems in EMPD, but you do no investigation. You don't appoint, you have the power to appoint. You don't appoint anyone to look into these serious allegations. You carry on until there's an allegation of the person that you discuss later on. There's a formal complaint, but the rest of the time, you carry on without taking any action to look into these serious allegations that you should be addressing. I expect that the municipal manager takes it seriously enough, that if you get this pervasive or this suggestion that it's a systemic problem in the EMPD, a responsible municipal manager would take action to investigate it further, and you don't seem to have done that.
Thank you very much. As I indicated at the beginning of my statement, when I said it was a general comment from a group of women, and there was no one with a formal complaint. Remember, you can't just investigate without a formal complaint, without anyone signing an affidavit or writing a grievance to you. You can't just, you're going to investigate everyone. What I reasonably did as an accounting officer, as a city manager, I had to create a program to deal with the systemic issue. I cannot just investigate people and say, yeah, there is this allegation that you guys, you are abusing these women, they are not promoted and so forth. I did a reasonable thing as an accounting officer to create that platform for women to be promoted and empowered.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. Dr. Mashazi, if I may. Yes, Chair.
Just before that, it's a follow-up to the questions by my co-commissioner, Commissioner Baloyi. You say it has been widely reported to you. When exactly did you get the reports?
It was, as I indicated, that it was a verbal, when I started as an accounting officer. These things were reported to me by this group of female officers that the chief is fathering.
Please remind me, when did you become the city manager? I know it's here, but...
Yeah.
2016.
Yes.
So in 2016, you hear that Chief Mapiyeye is not only having improper sexual relationships with women police officers, but is even raping some of them and harassing others sexually, even using coercion on them. I assume that's coercion for purposes of having, sex with them? This is, you get to hear this in 2016. And all you do, unless I misunderstand you, so all you do is to create a platform for women to be promoted. That's all you do.
To be empowered, number one, and to be promoted as well. Remember, if there's no formal complaint, how do you start investigating people? That's why I'm referring to the paragraph where I deal with specific sexual harassment, where there's a formal complaint.
Are you suggesting that as a leader you get reports of such horrendous acts by the chief of police? You sit back and fold your arms instead of being proactive. You fold your arms and say, there are no complaints to me. Why can't you be proactive and do the best you can to get to the bottom of the reports that you have received, reports of such horrendous acts by the chief of police?
Maybe it is a foresight from my side, but as an accounting officer, if there's no formal complaint, how do I, remember in terms of our processes in council, I must have a formal complaint like I received, that there is this thing happening.
But what was your sense? Well, wasn't your sense that this was something systemic?
Yes, it was something
it's
systemic.
ongoing. It's ongoing. There are children out of improper sexual relations. There's coercion, meaning those that are not willing to have, even willing perhaps is not a good word in this context. So there's even coercion to have sexual relations with those that will not have sexual relations with him. There are rapes. You just fold your arms, sit, and wait for complaints. Is that the way an accounting officer, a chief executive officer should act?
Commissioner, as I indicated that I cannot just from hearsay that they are this thing. I had to wait because there are processes in council. You can't just say there is this general view about an individual, therefore I'm investigating this individual. I must have something in writing that this person has complained about 1, 2, 3. Then I must write a report to council and ask council to give me permission to investigate, to suspend and investigate an individual. I could not unilaterally hearing from them as a group saying there is this thing happening. And I know that as an accounting officer.
Who did you get the reports from?
It was female officers.
Was it the affected women officers?
Affected women officers in the department.
So that's not hearsay. It's people who are affected
but
telling
they must
you.
do it in writing.
Sorry, Doctor. It's the affected women telling you that this is happening to us. There's nothing hearsay about that. There's nothing hearsay about that.
I take your point.
So basically you did nothing. Having received information about such horrendous acts by the chief of police, you just sat and did nothing.
I take your point that doing that program, it's not enough from the point of an accounting office. I take your point.
Thank you, Doctor.
I think, Doctor, it's more than the program is not enough. I think it's as specific as you receive word from women who speak to you. Because you raise it to a formal level, they tell you, we have a problem. And it's not just the chief, according to your evidence. They say the men in EMPD, this is what they do. What in fact it is you did nothing about that. Your explanation for doing nothing about it is you say, well, I didn't have any formal written complaints or allegations, but you did have verbal complaints and allegations, and then you did nothing about it. You didn't address those allegations.
I take your point, Commissioner.
Thank you.